The Consulting Success podcast is powered by the Clarity Coaching Program. If you'd like to work directly with the Consulting Success team and receive personal coaching and support to optimize and grow your consulting business, marketing, and revenue, visit consultingsuccess.com to find out more and apply.
Welcome to the Consulting Success Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Zipursky. In this podcast, we'll dive deep into the world of elite consultants, where you'll learn the strategies, tactics, and mindset to grow a highly profitable and successful consulting business.
Hey everyone, it's Michael here. Hope you're having a wonderful day. One of the greatest challenges that solo independent consultants have is how to approach building a team. In fact, building a team is an area that many people are quite uncomfortable with. Here's how it typically happens. You start off wanting less complexity. I mean, that's why many people will leave the corporate world. They'll leave employment. They'll leave their job because they want to realize their potential. They feel stuck, either like a income kind of ceiling, right, is holding them from reaching greater heights when it comes to their income, but also they're being held back from achieving and making a bigger impact. They have bosses breathing down their neck. They aren't able to pick and choose the projects or clients that they're working with. And so they want greater freedom, more flexibility to realize their potential. And that's why so many people will strike out on their own and start their own consulting business. But I hear from many consultants that the reason, or one of the reasons that they want to initially start off being a solo consultant is because they don't want to manage people. They don't want to have complexity. And so when you start off and you're a solo consultant, you will enjoy that freedom and flexibility. You will enjoy getting to pick and choose your clients, not having to worry about team members and managing and dealing with all the kinds of operations that are required when you have more than just yourself. And that's okay at the early stages because you're busy, but you're not too busy. I mean, you're delivering projects for clients, you're working on building the business. Things at the early stages will feel quite manageable. And that can continue on for a period of time. You're then going to start seeing greater growth. You're going to be landing more business. And so as the pace of business picks up, as you make a greater impact in the marketplace and your visibility increases, the awareness that you exist increases, people are starting to seek you out. You're starting to get business from different sources. Your marketing is working for you, or just you're receiving more referrals and your network is really kicking in. You know, your content creation is helping. Whatever it is that you're doing that is starting to make a bigger impact, you're reaching that tipping point, you're going to start to feel a lot busier. You're going to start to feel a bit overwhelmed. You're going to feel like you're being stretched in multiple different directions, that you're treading water at times and trying to keep your head above water, just keeping all the different moving pieces going in the right direction. And at times that can feel not overwhelming, but it can feel just downright exhausting. And that's where people will start to kind of run up against this idea of burnout, of just being exhausted, of being overwhelmed, of at times feeling anxiety kicking in. And it's at this point that the idea of building a team should really enter your mind in a much more serious way. Now, for some reason, there's still a hesitation that many people have, right? They view building a team as more work, as unnecessary. The typical comments that I hear will be, yeah, I don't want to bring more people in because it's going to cost more money. It's going to take money out of my pocket. An even more common concern is, well, if I bring someone in, I have to teach them how to do all these different things. I have to train them, and I can just do it faster myself. Now, these are their real concerns. And it's true that when you do bring people on, when you build your team, initially, you're going to have to outlay some money. You'll have to make an investment to bring those people on. And it is true that you will have to train people. But this is the time where it should become really clear that if you want to grow, to continue growing, if you want to be able to enjoy your business in a way where you don't feel overwhelmed, where you don't feel as much anxiety, where you don't feel like you're being stretched in multiple different directions, And so if you want to continue growing and not have all those feelings, or at least not to the degree and level that you may be having them now, or that you may encounter, and you want to be able to make a bigger impact than just what you're able to do yourself, the reality is that you can't do it yourself. You can't continue to grow, and you can't make the level of impact, a growing level of impact, all by yourself, right? At some point, you're going to cap out. And now you might say, well, I know of this one person who is able to run a solo business and be very, very successful. Of course, there's always exceptions to the rule. There's always people on the fringe, but the vast majority of consultants will not be able to continue growing to higher and higher levels of success, of achievement, and to be able to make a bigger impact than they are making right now, continuing to do everything themselves, right? So we work with many consultants who are going through this transition. And I remember one client who had a pretty successful executive career, working at high levels within multiple organizations. And when he struck out on his own, he was very firm about this idea of, I don't want to build a team. I want more freedom. I want more flexibility. I want more time, with my wife, and be able to spend a bit more time with my kids who have grown up, but still to spend more time with them, to be, kind of more present and not be as scattered and busy as I was before when I was an executive and dealing with management of other people. Now, he started seeing rapid success in his business, and he really wanted to remain solo. We supported him and worked with him to put the right systems in place to help him to grow his team and his business. And the reason that he finally became open to the idea of working with a team and adding additional people is because he wanted to achieve more. He wanted to create more. He wanted to enjoy more freedom. And he recognized that even though he initially thought he wanted to do all that by himself, and that he wanted to stay away from this idea of bringing people on, that it wasn't realistic that he could do that he could achieve greater growth, make a bigger impact all by himself. And so the result is that today he has a great team in place, and his business has never been as successful as it is today. When I talk to clients who initially felt, I can do all this stuff myself. I want to remain solo. I don't want to bring people on. I don't want to have to deal with training them and hiring them and all the management and coaching that goes into it. I've never once encountered a client who has actually gone ahead and brought on a virtual assistant or an administrator or other people who has said, Michael, I wish I didn't do this. In fact, it's the exact opposite. Every single client who has gone down this path of building a team, even if it's one person or two people or 5 people or 10 people, every single one, they'll say the exact same thing, which is, I wish I did this sooner. And it's because it frees them up, right? It allows them to really conquer bigger mountains, to make a bigger impact, to achieve more than you ever could as just one person. And so when you have a team, when you have the right people in place, you're going to feel excited because you're going to be able to see greater and bigger possibilities. You're going to be able to achieve more. You're going to be able to really accelerate your progress, accelerate your growth, and do it all without just being you. The other benefit is that your business can start to run in certain ways without your direct involvement. And it doesn't mean that your expertise will no longer be needed, but there'll be certain areas, whether it's within delivery, administration, operations, marketing, sales, technology, but different areas that you'll be able to outsource, to delegate, to build team around. Now these things can actually move forward without your direct involvement. And that is what leads to greater growth. Now, building a team isn't about having a bunch of full-time people. And I think that's a common misconception. And it's one of the reasons that causes people hesitation. They think, building a team requires a lot of full-time people. It requires a big investment, a lot of risk. Well, the truth is that building a team is as much about having contractors, freelancers, part-time people. You don't need to have full-time people. You don't need to make a massive commitment up front. In fact, what I often recommend to clients is to start small and then expand, right? Identify 1 or 2 areas that you can delegate that are taking up your time right now that are not the best use of your time. Identify areas that are lower value tasks for you to be doing so that you can delegate them to somebody else and therefore create time for you to work on higher value tasks that will create greater value for your business. identify areas that you don't enjoy doing and delegate them to people who will enjoy doing them. That not only will help you to make greater progress and as a result, greater impact on those that you're serving, but it also will make you happier. It will allow you to enjoy your business more because you'll be spending your time doing the things that you truly like. Next, I want to encourage you to view this as an investment. I know a lot of consultants will look at building a team and they'll hesitate to do this. They'll hesitate to even begin the process because they look at it like money coming out of their pocket. But that's short-term thinking, because the reality is you can easily tell yourself, oh, I'll wait till I achieve this next level of revenue, or I'll wait till I get one more client. And I certainly remember that back in the day in my first consulting business. That's what I told myself. I always kept putting it off. But if you keep putting it off, you're going to always keep pushing, kind of kicking the can down the road, and you'll never get started. Identify areas right now, again, where you shouldn't be spending your time, where it's not the best use of your time, and recognize that you can find people, great people, who will do what you're looking to do for 10, 15, 25, even $50 an hour. And you might say, well, $50 an hour sounds like a lot, but what is your value? If your hourly value, and I'm not suggesting that you use hourly fees because that's typically something that we recommend against. But if you just identified what your value is roughly per hour, you might say, well, yeah, my value is $150 an hour or $250 an hour or $500 an hour, whatever it might be. But let's just take the example that your value on an hourly basis based on the revenue that you want to create is $250 per hour. Well, right now, that means you're actually losing $200 every hour that you're working on a low value task. Why? Because even if you got somebody who's exceptionally talented and for $50 an hour, you can find really talented people. Well, you could pay that person $50 an hour to take over that task that you're currently doing yourself because your value is $250. So if they can do it for $50 an hour, right, it means you're actually losing $200 an hour by you doing it yourself. Now, when somebody takes that off your plate and you delegate it, now you have that hour back. And it's not just about 1 hour. It's about you spending an hour or 2 or 3 every single day on these things. And they compound, right? And they become bigger and bigger and bigger. And they actually become quite substantial over the weeks and months throughout the year. Well, now you've freed that time up. So now you can invest that time back into higher value tasks or more meaningful activities, whether it's spending time with a spouse or loved ones, or working more on your marketing, developing intellectual property, content development, whatever it might be. But now you're able to go, well, yeah, this hour can actually be used to create $250 an hour or more. Whereas you're only paying somebody $15, $25, $50 an hour to do those same tasks. That's the shift in mindset from looking at building a team as a cost to seeing it as an investment. And when you do that, you're going to be able to unlock significantly greater potential. Not only that, right? That's just one side of the coin. That's what we would call the value side of this, or I should say the revenue side of value, right? So when we talk about building a team, there's typically 2 parts of value that come off right away, or they're connected right away. The first is revenue generation, right? You're able to accelerate the results of your business because you have more people, right? You have people helping to move things forward. 1 + 1 is not necessarily 2, it's 3. But even if it was 2, you're still able to make more progress because you have more people working towards the same goal, right? So you're making greater progress. You can see greater results. Well, that's going to help you to generate greater revenue and grow the business. But the other side of it is that by delegating, and I've kind of alluded to or mentioned this a little bit earlier, is that you're buying back your time. The investment in your team is creating more freedom for you, more flexibility for you. And you can invest that time back into your business to grow it even more, or you can invest that time into other things that you enjoy, into your physical health, your mental health, your relationships. It can be anything. But at the end of the day, it's not about how much money we make, right? It's about how do we spend our time. You'll never hear somebody on their deathbed saying, oh, I wish I had more money. They'll say things like, I wish I spent more time with my kids. I wish I spent more time with my parents or a spouse or my hobbies or learning this or doing that. Well, when you buy back your time, not only will your business continue to grow if you have the right systems and structures in place, but now you'll have more time to spend it in a meaningful way or in a way that resonates or creates more fulfillment for you. So that's the second part of the value. Now, the reality is, yes, you will need to hire people. You'll need to train them. You'll need to coach them. You'll need to manage them. But the benefit that you'll get from that is, over the long term, is worth it. It's, short-term pain or short-term challenges, you might say, but you're going to get long-term benefit from it. You're making your company more valuable. You're making your business more valuable. You're able to grow your business over the long term. Yes, your profit margins may take a little bit of a hit in the short term, but in the long term, not only will your business, if you have the right systems in place and you do the right thing, not only will your revenue grow up and more than make up for the increase in costs, but you're also going to create more time and you're going to make your business itself significantly more valuable. So yes, it takes work. Yes, it's venturing into maybe a new area. Yes, you may think right now that it's not something that you need to do, but I can tell you from working with hundreds of consultants that this is one area that people tend to struggle with. They tend to think, yeah, I don't need to do that. But if you want to grow beyond where you are, if you want to be able to make a bigger impact, if you want to accelerate that, if you want to create more freedom, then think about how you can go from just being solo to building a team. And that team doesn't need to be full-time people. It can be contractors, freelancers, part-time people. But think about how you can surround yourself with a team, with people who can help you to achieve more and to make a greater impact. Have a great day. While we work with a lot of seasoned and experienced consultants here at Consulting Success, I'm often contacted by new early-stage consultants. Invariably, the question I'm asked is, what are the steps I should take to become a successful consultant and grow my consulting business to my first 6 figures per year? Well, I'm excited to announce that we've opened the doors for our Momentum program. This is our most popular program for early-stage consultants, and it has helped almost 1,000 consultants to start, run, and grow successful consulting businesses. It gives you the step-by-step plan to help you with your messaging, your fees, and pricing strategies, how to win more proposals, how to go to market more effectively, developing a marketing system to generate leads consistently, and so much more. And right now, until September the 19th, you can sign up for Momentum and get 50% off the regular price by going to consultingsuccess.com/audio. That's consultingsuccess.com/audio, AUDIO. Only 100 spots are available to join Momentum and get 50% off. This deal is only available until September the 19th or until all 100 spots are gone. We won't be opening up new spots in this program for several months, so don't wait. Go to consultingsuccess.com/audio. That's consultingsuccess.com/audio, AUDIO.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Consulting Success Podcast. For more episodes and to subscribe, rate, and leave a review, head on over to iTunes. And if you'd like to develop consistent lead flow and a highly profitable consulting business, learn more about our coaching programs at consultingsuccess.com.